You know, when I look at all the so-called struggles or accomplishments that blacks have made over the years socially, and we are still the most vulnerable people on the planet. I'm just trying to see if I can realize a way that would shine a light on our predicament, that would change our perspective and expectations. You know, just to put something in terms that even a child couldn't ignore. I'm watching this YouTube channel, and it was this mother and son. The mother had been addicted to tartar sauce. She put it on everything. So the son called this organization to handle people with strange food addictions. So the mother been consuming this tartar sauce every day for the last 4 or 5 years. The son had just about had enough of it because he could see this was not going to end well for his mother if she didn't break this addiction. So when the people got there, they wanted to show her the impact that how this was affecting her life negatively. She had already gained like 50 pounds. So they took her out in the backyard and had these big old huge vats. Each vat contained 1 year's supply of tartar sauce. If you ate just one bottle of tartar sauce a day for a whole year, it would consume this whole vat. When she went over there, they opened up the lid and she looked into it and she kind of like smiled. And she took her finger, wiped it up, and stuck it in her mouth. And the people chuckled. They laughed. She couldn't believe that she had a big old vat of tartar sauce. So then, when they started showing her a second vat, a third and fourth and a fifth vat, and she said, "This is what you've eaten over the last 5 years," and it didn't put on 50 additional pounds. And when you look at the health implications, the medications you got to take, exercise, how much difficult this addiction is impacting her. Now her smile started turning upside down. She started realizing that this is not a good thing. They had her undress, well, put on this raincoat and take off her pants, no, her shoes and socks. And they poured a vat of tartar sauce down this water slide, with a slide into this little wading pool. And they wanted her to walk through it. When she stepped into the tartar sauce, it was so gross to her. And she was like, ugh, and just looking at it dripping off the slide, stepping in it all over her feet. It started to turn her stomach. Then they took her inside the house and showed her these mirrors that added weight to the image. And they say, if you continue this addiction over the next few years, this is what you're going to look like. When she saw her image in the mirror, she started to cry. She started to reach out for help. She didn't like what she saw and wanted to make some change. And I'm saying to myself, had nobody said anything to her, especially in this format, she would have kept eating this tartar sauce, kept denying or ignoring the negative impact of it, and would have been killing her slowly. I say that to say this: if only blacks were able to see this as a group. You put a group of black people, let's say 100,000 black people together at a football stadium, and show them the negative impact their addiction to being ordered and oppressed. Show them the negative impact of being in a society where you have no ownership and control over your way of life. You don't own or control, know what, when, why, or how you do anything. Show them that all the benefits and privileges, advantages, rights, black people are the only ones that have to be afforded this. They have to be permitted for this. Everybody that you go to, that you take your money to, can tell you what and when you can access these privileges. You do anything outside of your employer's desire, and they'll threaten your way of life. You protest, you boycott, you disagree, your livelihood is at risk. You show 100,000 black people that if you don't want to do what your employer wants to do, they'll remove your ability to work, to go to school, deny you the privilege of providing for your wife, your kids, your family, all because you're taking your hunger, your thirst, your needs, your desires to somebody else to fulfill them. And there hasn't been now one consistent social movement that focused on restoring black people into the ownership and control over their way of life. When you look at this vaccine, because you don't want to take a vaccine, now so-called private business owners have the right not to allow you to work. That being said, the more you purchase, you buy a house, you buy a car, cell phone, hearing aid, whatever, subscription, Hulu, Netflix, whatever you purchase that has residual payments to maintain, you're putting yourself in more and more risk of losing it if you don't do what your employer say. You show black people this image and then show them the image of other races of people who have some control, who have some ownership, who have some authority over their life, and compare the two. If black people at that point don't reach the conclusion simultaneously of disgust, of a point where they just want to throw up when they look at all the money they've spent into a society or to a system that affords them no rights or privileges unless it's permitted. We need to be like that lady and start to weep and start to look at ourselves differently as and look to do things to change our outlook. Can you imagine somebody giving you a piece of catfish and then telling you that you can eat that catfish, but you can't have no bread or you can't have no hot sauce? Black people would not like that at all. We can't eat fish without bread or hot sauce or tartar sauce. And every time that black people ventured out to manufacture and produce their own bread, to manufacture and produce their own hot sauce, somebody came in and destroyed it, forcing you to go back to eating the plain catfish, however they want you to have it. We need to put an image like this in front of our people so that now we think not only do we have to be about the business of opening manufacturing businesses so we can have ownership and control over the essential needs of our lives, but we also got to think about we got to be able to defend it too. We cannot allow somebody to come in here and tear down our institutions, our businesses, our communities, to force us into a failed economy. So it's not just one thing that we have to do. We have to combat every avenue that they use to control and manipulate and determine our weather. We got to create a social alternative, and I call it a conscious alternative, because black people feel that when they have made a success in this white industrial system, we've overcame. No, we have not overcame. We've sold out. This is the way white people think. This is the way they think society should be. I think if we was to come up with our own way, of existing, it would be totally different. And if you had the opportunity to choose between the two, you would choose the way that a conscious person would conceive, as opposed to an oppressor. White people ain't established no traditions, no businesses, no manufacturing bases on their own. Everything they got from black people. There is in a business or industry that we don't have a significant presence and impact in. It is time that we started taking ownership and control and building our own, so that we can control the what, the when, the why, how long, and take it out of the hands of our oppressors. I don't care what it is, tartar sauce, whatever. We got to use whatever visual image to show our people how negatively this is impacting us, and present it to them to the point where they become disgusted at what we've become and start to embrace what we can be.